So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Saturn. Saturn transit in Aquarius, and especially Saturn transit in this nakshatra of Shatabhisha that it is in now. And it's going to be for quite a while. And this is something that was requested, especially after I made a short on Saturn Ketu, play that plays out. So first of all, of course, the sidereal side, Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius, nakshatra of Shatabhisha. And Aquarius, I'm seeing so many charts of people are dealing with something major is occurring in people's chart, especially right when it entered Aquarius, which was in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Like, for example, I'll just be honest, like when Saturn entered Aquarius, okay, even in Dhanishta Nakshatra, well, I was dealing with wrong and anxiety because especially during that time period, my sister had passed away and certain financial things came up, and I'm just like, whoa, what's going on? This is something that, I haven't felt and dealt with. Like, I realized what an anxiety is. Truly, so it gives me a window into other people who kind of deal with panic and anxiety. I dealt with that. But then, of course, I had to use my own astrological knowledge onto my own self. So I'm like, okay, Saturn is going to be entering Shatabhisha. And when it enters Shatabhisha, I know some form of miraculous healing will come in from many different sources. Now, why did I say that? Just like before, I made a video, right, on Jupiter entering in Ashwini. And now Saturn is in Aquarius. Aquarius is a very dual-natured, mysterious sign because it is co-ruled by Saturn and Rahu. On one hand, there is karma. Actually, both are karmas. One is a karma that you have to deal with from that accumulation of past life, and the other is making you deal with the karmas of this life as well at the same time. So it's a heavy sign. It is pretty much also the sign of, the public. Because what is Leo? Leo is the king. Leo is where the king resides. It's the home of the king. It's like, it's the hill, right? This is why Leo and Aries naturally represents hill. Because sun is exalted where? In Aries. And sun's own sign is what? Leo. And so when the king looks down, he's looking into an Aquarius. It's looking into an Aquarius region where everybody resides. Somebody who hates you, somebody who loves you, somebody who's a well-wisher for you, somebody who is cursing you. Okay. And so all those people that are Aquarius have those traits of Saturn and Ketu. So you have workers, you have healers, you have good guys, you have bad guys. You have all kinds of things. So this is where it becomes, a very mysterious sign, but especially in Shatabhisha. Okay, Shatabhisha represents 100 healers. Because especially Shatabhisha represents the cluster of these many hundreds and more than 100 stars in a cluster. And so here Saturn is representing what? Saturn is representing karma. So now, whatever karma that has been done, whatever karma that you are dealing with, this particular portion of Shatabhisha will bring many solutions to the issue you're going through. That's what it does. It represents many solutions that you will get for one issue and problem. And this is why I'm like, I have to make this video, because when I dealt with certain issues and problem, I suddenly started getting help from sources that I didn't even know existed. I started getting help from people that I didn't even know could help me in some situation. So it is that healing quality of that Saturn that comes in. And it comes in through, again, very mysterious sources. Then the other thing is that Shatabhisha is Varuna, controlled by Varuna, the chief of security, the one who wants to keep the palace, the borders of the palace, at safeguard, which nowadays can translate to cybersecurity, firewall security. Like, he's always out there looking for some breach. So in Shatabhisha Saturn, what happens is, it always shows you, because remember, what is Saturn? Saturn is not just karma, it also represents profession. What is it that a person is going to be performing in this life? So regardless of where your Saturn is, okay, Saturn, when it's in Shatabhisha, Varuna now has the ears of Saturn. Varuna is now saying that, listen, there's this breach that is happening and you need to take care of this. You better get on it right now. That's what Saturn shows. And I've actually got a video on this too, maybe last month, where I spoke about, that Saturn has entered Shatabhisha. It is going to make you look at certain things in your work, in your profession that might be breached, that need taken care of. And you must take care of that, because when Varuna points you to that and you ignore it, then Varuna is like, well, if you're not going to be worrying about this, then why would I be worrying about this? So this is why in Shatabhisha, worries come into play. This is why in Shatabhisha, anxiety comes into play, worry comes into play. Or actually, I should say, solution to worry and anxiety comes into play. Because Varuna shows, listen, the crux of the problem and issue that you're dealing with, it is this thing. And it will point it to everybody. You just have to be able to catch that. You have to be intuitive enough to catch that, lucky enough to catch that, and you will have certain things come up. In your karmas, in your profession, they'll be like, well, did you do this? You forgot to do this. And then you're like, okay, so if you're Saturn, if you're doing the right karma, Saturn is going to make you like, okay, let's get on this. If not, you'll be like, oh, I don't want to deal with this at all. Let's just move on to the other thing. While you're moving forward to perform your karmas, to do certain things, that other breach is naturally now becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. So you must take care of that. And because especially the unique part of Saturn in Shatabhisha is that it is going to be providing healing, because it's its own sign. It's its own domain. Saturn knows there's healing here. I am going to heal this particular part. So this is why it's a very good transit for people who will naturally get solution at different points. So, for example, let's say if somebody's an Aries ascendant. So that means in your organization, your healing will come through sources of the professional network circles. For example, I'm doing so many readings now with people who have lost their jobs, were part of some layoff. And pretty much all of them were in the tech field and tech industry. And it's funny, it's not even just like Silicon Valley, it's actually all around the world. I'm seeing Europe, India, Australia, definitely US, So what happens is, if let's say you lose that job and you have Aries ascendant, Saturn is in 11th house in Aquarius. Well, now Saturn's going to bring you the healing through the people you have already known. Meaning maybe you made connection with somebody in some other company. You have their number. Somehow Saturn, if your karmas are good, Saturn's going to somehow make you think about this person who left your current company 8-9 months ago or 2 years ago, and they're working for this company. You're like, maybe I should contact them and see what they might say what they might do, or naturally, suddenly they'll text you, how you doing? By the way, we're looking for this position. Are you available? And you're like, yes, I don't have a job. I need work. That position is available. So, and healing and solution will come through even elder sibling. Elder sibling will become part of, that solution and part of that healing. Then if let's say you're a Taurus ascendant, it goes into the 10th. The people that like in your workspace, but also the authority, father's family. Because again, 10th house is father's family. Somehow your healing related to your karmas will come through that. Perhaps again, I'll go back to the first example. You may know a boss who left the company and now is with some other company. These are the kind of like indications that you will get. Okay. You will even get great suggestions and benefits through the spouse. Because Saturn again will look at the 7th house, being in the 10th house, 10th aspect of karma. So if whichever planet it looks at in the 10th aspect, that person becomes part of the healing. If Venus is there, it doesn't have to be spouse, it could be some women that suddenly you find healing through them. If it's Gemini, Saturn will be the 9th house. So of course, mentors, teachers, father, and including going on pilgrimage. Like this is the best time. So if let's say when I see a person who lost their job and looking for new work, haven't found work, I'm like, depending upon what sign Saturn is in, I might say, you know what? Go to Tirupati Balaji. Go to the Adiyogi Shiva temple. Go on some long pilgrimage where you meet something more divine, because your healing is going to come through that particular space. So even though, if Saturn, let's say, is in the 9th house, and if some other planets are there, this is where those things will change for me. Not that Saturn is going to be in some different sign. I'm talking about Gemini ascendant, so it's going to be in Aquarius. But if other planets are there, some other planets it's going over or it's looking, I'm going to say this is where that solution will come through. Saturn is naturally also connected with Shiva. Go visit a Shiva temple. In 9th house of divinity, Hanuman will work. Like this can actually work for multiple people, like everybody. Like Hanuman is the one that actually has that control and power over Shani. Shani represents which direction? West direction. You can have like a Hanuman Murti in the west direction. If your Saturn is in the 8th house transiting, you will find mysterious hidden sources to find your healing. Mysterious people will come and will give that healing. Occult, mysticism, hidden knowledge, secrecy, whether it's astrology, Vastu, Tantra, healer, medium, psychic, somebody from that realm will come and help you out of nowhere. Sometimes you even ask for help and you get that help. If let's say you're a Leo ascendant, Saturn is definitely going to bring your healing through either spouse or people that you meet out in the world. And especially in the 7th house, the healing begins when you do something for other people at no cost. Meaning, when you give yourself and volunteer, both in 7th and 6th house. 7th house is other people. You have to interact with other people. You can no longer, if let's say you are suffering by profession, some kind of a stress is happening, you go out there in the world. You're like, who else is, let me see if somebody is suffering more than me. Let me see if I can just help them out. And from that, it opens up this Pandora box where now help comes to you. It's like there's a saying, I once met a man who had no shoes until I met a man who had no legs. So imagine one pain versus the other. Your pain might just be you don't have shoes right now. You can't afford shoes right now. Now go to the person who has no legs. Saturn being in the 6th house, definitely volunteering service. Donate to helping older people. Okay? 6th house is service. 6th house is sacrifice. Aquarius is sacrifice. Aquarius is doing things that without getting anything in return. Like Aquarius, you will notice this with any planet in Aquarius. Through the Karak Avastha of that planet, the significance of that planet. When you do some work, you won't even get a thanks. Like, because Aquarius is kind of like how 5th house is, or the sign of Leo is a child, right? And child will always look at whoever's in the front. So if somebody feeds the child, changes their diaper, helps them cross a road, the child will be like, oh, they're supposed to do this because I am a child. You're supposed to do this. So they will be like, I don't need to give thanks. It's like they're looking at the mother. Mother's going to feed them. Mother's going to change their clothes, give them a shower, brush their teeth. They're like, what do I need to give thanks for? It is something they have to do. That's what that sacrifice becomes. And this is why that symbolism of Aquarius is that old man holding a vase of water and wisdom is pouring through at the edge of the village. So the wise man does not care if somebody gives them money or not. There's this like, here, you're thirsty, let me give you water. So again, Aquarius overall represents, sacrificing for other people. In the 6th house, especially helping the sick. When you help the sick, your own healing comes in. When you help somebody pay their debts off, your own healing comes in, meaning you know that your brother is in a lot of debt, your sister's in a lot of debt, and you're going through your own issues and problems. So here's $50 or whatever credit card debt you're in. And those things kind of triggered those healings for this individual. If you are a Libra ascendant, Saturn will be in the 5th house. Your healing comes through education. Healing comes through reading books, reciting mantras. Healing will come through creation. When you start, let's say you do some kind of a creative project. So if you have never drawn before, just draw. You should start spending time with children more. And you should do it with the intention that, yes, I am going to my children for healing. I'm going to spend time with my children for healing. Start to teach something to someone, because again, we're talking about sacrifice. Start teaching something to someone at no cost. Let's say you are a software professional, you know all these tips and tricks of softwares and coding that you have discovered that other people may and should know. Fine. Go out there online and teach something. Like if you have this problem in this particular project, you do this coding. Oh, how much are you charging? Nothing. Just do this coding. It's like you're helping out children, because when somebody learns from you, they're no longer just some customer. They are your child. They are your children. And 5th house is also the house of mantras. So mantras naturally bring in healing. Healing will also come to children. Let's say your children they're having some health issue. Suddenly, many thousand healers comes in. Meaning, suddenly, many opportunities will come in to help you from different sources. If you're Scorpio ascendant, of course, Saturn is in the 4th house. Go to your mother for suggestion. Go ask mother for help. Ask your mother, does she need anything? Does she want anything? Within your own home, you're going to find healing. And I'm showing these ways so you can activate that part of automatic healing that is to come. And for example, we're also looking at the aspect of Varuna. So, for example, in 10th house, Varuna will say, pay attention to your career. In the 9th house, it'll say, pay attention to your divinity and guru. In the 8th house, it'll say, pay attention to your hidden resources. Pay attention to your marriage, your joint assets. 7th house, marriage and business. 6th house, health and debts. Pay attention to them. See what the interest rate is of the credit card. In the 5th house, well, pay attention to what your child is doing in their school. If you're learning some education, make sure you have the right GPA, you have the right score. Everything is like, that fence is properly activated. In the 4th house, make sure that there's some plumbing issue that is occurring that needs fixing. And that could be definitely the case because, again, remember, Varuna and Mitra are connected together. Mitra is connected with Anuradha. Anuradha represents pipes. Saturn Aquarius may suddenly show you that some plumbing issue needs to be fixed. And when you fix it, suddenly all this healing starts coming in. For Sagittarius, Saturn would be in the 3rd house. You must walk. Go out on walking. In the 3rd house, you need to communicate with your friends. Ask your friends, how their life is going. Perhaps your friend needs help because that's where Varuna is going to show you there could be some flaw. In the 3rd house especially, you will see other people suffering on social media. You try to now become the healer. And then that comes back to you. In the 2nd house, pay attention to your bank account, your money, your finances. And then the healing comes through, especially food. Certain foods will activate your ability to find healing with whatever issue that you're dealing with. Going to family and asking them for help and not letting your ego get into the way. And especially in the 2nd house, again, look at the opposite. So the 2nd house itself will show help will come through occult because Saturn is going to be looking at the 8th house. Saturn's going to try to find solution from all the places. So 2nd house is also strongly connected with occult as well. And then Aquarius ascendant, you're going to have to start focusing on your body. Varuna will say, well, you need to pay attention to whatever this rash is, whatever, pain that you're having in your spine or in your, your shank area, your knee area. Let's take care of that. And when you take care of that, it automatically will start doing the other thing, which is healing. 12th house, donations. You must make donations. Look at your investments, how your investments are doing. Does your investment needs healing? Invest in yourself, especially related to profession. So you lost your job, well, think about what additional certification that can help. And put your own money to it because it's like 12th house is investments. So many people I see, where a company sponsors your MBA, right? So you get your MBA, but have you ever noticed that from that MBA, the company benefits the most? They get that 80% of the benefits where you might be getting 20% of the benefit. Why? Because it was company who invested in you. So Lakshmi, which resides in the 12th house, is going to help the company first. They invested the money. You did not invest the money to go to that MBA school. So this is why it is important when you go for some certification course, something. I'm not saying don't do MBA. Of course, you should do that MBA if it's for free. But additionally, also put your own money to invest in yourself besides just the market. That means if you need a certification course of something, some new coding language, pay that money out of your pocket. Because now you're telling Lakshmi that, look, I'm putting money back into this recycling of economy. And Lakshmi will be like, okay, you'll get something back. This is also very true for Venus too, because Venus is money. You must invest in yourself and other people and other things, other companies. So this is where the healing comes in. Now, with that whole thing about Ketu, Saturn, see, so when any planet goes over any planet, it's taking the essence of that planet and bringing it upon itself. You will see Saturn, when it goes over Ketu, even people who didn't believe in astrology, they'll go to astrologers. They'll go to psychics. They'll go to tarot readers. Because they'll be so desperate for finding solutions, they'll go to such people. And so what Ketu does, Ketu represents, it's a mokshic planet. It's sleeping, it's unaware. So that unawareness transfers into Shani. So especially if, let's say, one is in a Ketu-like profession, you're a monk, you're a priest, you're an astrologer, you're a psychic, you're doing pranic healing, Reiki healing, you're a yoga teacher. Well, Saturn is now finding, oh, wow, this is what this person is doing. Okay, I'm going to flourish that more. In other cases, in other type of professions, Saturn just brings this cutting of the head. Like one makes headless decisions where now it can affect the career. Or one becomes so disinterested that they, in the profession, that they screw up, and then the company doesn't like it, company lets the individual go. And so in this particular regards, and I believe I've said this before, right? That's what I feel, but that when you have these situations, you should always feed fishes and dogs. If you're in other type of profession, help dogs. If you have, let's say, a place where you can adopt a dog, adopt a dog. Because Saturn is dog, Ketu's dog. Saturn is a dog in Parashri, Ketu's a dog in Nadi. Wherever you can go feed fishes, if let's say you can have a fish aquarium, fine. If there's some pond out there, there's fishes, just give food to the fishes. Donate, and especially donate towards Buddhist monasteries. Or any kind of, like, let's say, any kind of mission monastery, Ramakrishna monastery, Tolin Mutt, like for example, Vivekananda's. These are monks. Anything connected with monks, you help them. Imam and monks and Sad, any kind of like renunciants. You help them with their resources. Because Saturn is the one who gives you your resources. You work, you get a paycheck. So now you provide them with their earnings, so this way your healing can come into play. And this way you can stand tall in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra transit of Saturn. Because that's the one-legged goat, right? Ajayika Pada. So when you deal with this sacrifice and this healing, now you're able to stand even on one foot. You're doing some kind of a penance. Because you feel that universe has gave you so much in Shatabhisha, healed you so much, that you're going to be standing on that one leg doing penance to God. That thank you for helping me to stand up on my own feet. So this is what Saturn is going to be doing. And so the healing is going to come in. You just have to go by the house. And people keep asking if it's from the ascendant or the moon. This is definitely from the ascendant. Ascendant is an important part. Otherwise, what's the point of looking at a chart from the ascendant? We can look at a chart from Jupiter like we do in Nadi. We can look at it from the moon chart, which is the start of the karmas. So yeah, it's important from the moon how Shani is going to be, which part of you is going to be affected through Shani from the moon chart. But from the Lagna is the actual, the karmas that one has to deal with. All right. So anyway, guys, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your Saturn is placed, all your astrological details, check out KRSastrology.com, where in the shop section, you'll find all my books, reports, consultations, including my academy, Vedic Astrology Academy, where I'm going to be bringing something new this month or mid next month. All right. Bye-bye.